Weekly update for Friday, October 27th. And good news all the way around. Michael R. of Easton, Pennsylvania, I found your letter. It ran and hid someplace, and then I just spent another half hour just before I'm doing the show here looking for it again. So this time I'm hanging on to it good and proper. Quick questions. When is the next Cerebus Archive number 7 Kickstarter campaign going to happen? Looks like a good example of comic art metaphysics in action, because not 10 minutes ago I went out back to Camp David, and the proofs for the notes and for the actual artwork on Cerebus Archive number 7, they were all there. So I haven't even had a chance to take a close look at them yet, but there you go. And along with that was a post-it note from Dave Fisher. Cerebus Archive number 7 Kickstarter needs video. Well, it's got the video, it just doesn't have the music on the video. And the Kickstarter page will be ready to go in the next few days, he says. And thank you for that, Dave Fisher. Speaking of Kickstarter, we've got a Kickstarter coming to an end on October 31st. The Subspace Chatter digest comic from Awakening Comics that Steve Peters and Bianca Alomar have done. That Kickstarter, just to remind you, ends October 31st. So the middle of next week, and that's the one that includes the Ying in Hell story, first Cerebus story written by a female comic creator. So those of you wanting to stay complete with your Cerebus in Hell with a question mark comics, you're going to have to get yourself a copy of Subspace Chatter, and Kickstarter is the place to do it. Just either search for Subspace Chatter at Kickstarter or search for Awakening Comics. Either one of them will take you there, I'm pretty sure. And also wanted to remind you that Strange Cerebus number 1 is in stores as of 2 days ago, as of Wednesday. And we hope everybody is able to get a copy of that before they sell out. Well, let's say before they sell too quickly for you to get one. Okay, and Michael's second question: what's the latest on the Cerebus stamps? Again, updating that one. When we do that Kickstarter for the Cerebus stamps, instead of the cover of the first Cerebus trade paperback as the illustration, it's going to be my first comic art drawing that I ever did of Cerebus after I did the logo design for Aardvark Anaheim, and that will be the design on the stamp. That's something that I will be scanning on the big 11,000 XL scanner. What else we have here? Now that Carson's artwork is done, what's the timeline update for You Don't Know Jack? Number 1 and number 2. Right now what we're waiting for is for Jack Van Dyke to sign off on You Don't Know Jack and the use of her image in Strange Death of Alex Raymond. So Carson will be keeping me up to date about that. The last time he heard from her, the ever elusive Jack Van Dyke, was September 28th, and it's now the end of October and still no further word, but that's what we're waiting for on that one. The timeline after that, we will be doing a Kickstarter called Introducing Carson Grubaugh. Yeah, this is my mock-up of what the Kickstarter Cerebus Archive format portfolio is going to look like. There you see the You Don't Know Jack cover number 1 by Carson Grubaugh, and 2 pictures of Jack by Carson Grubaugh. And as it says there, where the Jack Van Dyke character in The Strange Death of Alex Raymond came from. 6 individual plates, 9 pages of commentary. Since Carson's going to be doing most of the heavy lifting on the artwork from now on, I thought people really needed to get acquainted with his artwork and with some of his methods in how he accomplishes that artwork. So the portfolio is actually going to say, The Strange Death of Alex Raymond starts here, introducing Carson Grubaugh. And as you can see, the portfolio will include full-size copies of all 4 Strange Death of Alex Raymond covers. Also, something that I need to talk over with Carson is whether we're going to use the You Don't Know Jack cover on the front of the portfolio, or if we're going to use one of Carson's brilliant splash pages from the issue. Depends on which one he would like to see on the front cover of the portfolio. And Michael R.'s 4th question, once You Don't Know Jack comes out, how long before STOAR comes out? And the answer to that one is, well, the portfolio has to be done first as a Kickstarter, and the way that we want to promote that is going to be in a reissue of Cerebus in Hell with a question mark number 0 as a $1 comic book. That's the plan right now. And in order for that to happen, that has to be solicited for. So it's 3 months until we can get that solicitation in through Diamond. So you're talking about probably February before it's in the catalogs, March before it ships. Once it ships, then we need the Kickstarter for the portfolio, which will take us into April, and then we need the solicitation for You Don't Know Jack through IDW. And still haven't talked to IDW, and as I say, we still have to get permission from Jack to use Jack in Jack. So it's not going to be tomorrow. It would be really nice if it worked like the Cerebus Archive portfolio number 7. Oh hey, here it is, it's ready to go. But no, we're talking about well into 2018. Is STOAR still going to be multiple graphic novels? Yes, that's definitely the plan. We've got enough for 2 graphic novels right now. So once You Don't Know Jack has had its portfolio debut, and then the 2 issues of You Don't Know Jack have come out, and they promote the Kickstarter for the STOAR portfolio. Once that portfolio comes out, then Volume 1 will be distributed to the stores after that, and then, at least theoretically, the process repeats itself with a Kickstarter and a portfolio for the first half of Volume 2. And meanwhile, Carson and I will be working as fast as we possibly can on Volume 3, with the theory that that would be coming out in 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. You can always count on the timeline stretching out ahead. A timeline shortening itself is very, very unusual. Will Carson only be doing the artwork between issues, or will he be the permanent artist for STOAR? Yes, he will be the permanent artist. I'm hoping I can do some drawing on Strange Death of Alex Raymond, but it's only going to be some drawing. It's not going to be the lion's share of the drawing. Number 8, what has Carl Stevens done to help STOAR? And the answer to that is volunteering to help with it, I think, is probably the biggest contribution that Carl's made to this point. The idea is that there's a clever end of Carson Grubau's bridges between the storylines at the end of volume 3, we think. And then we thought it would be very funny to have Carl Stevens pick up and do the bridging material between Carson's stories on volume 3 forward. Will any supporters of Patreon see any perks for You Don't Know Jack and STOAR? Yes, at least for the foreseeable future, which is the Introducing Carson Grubau portfolio. Instead of just the 4 covers to the miniseries of Strange Death of Alex Raymond, you'll also be getting cover number 5, which nobody else will be getting. So if you want to become a Patreon supporter just to get that, this would be the time to sign up. Now that you have 2008 in parentheses, legitimate with a question mark, petition signers, is there still a chance of coming out into the public and promoting STOAR? Probably promoting STOAR out in the public might be another question entirely. That's something that I'm going to have to talk to Ted Adams at IDW about. How much promotion does IDW want to do for Volume 1, and what kind of promotion do they want done, and what participation do they want me to have in it? And those are all open questions right now. The 2008 signatures, I mean, that's great, but it's still 2,000 signatures over the course of 8 or 9 years. So I'm not really taking that as a vote of immense confidence, and I am aware of the society that I'm in, and I'm aware that my not being a feminist is considered illegal in most jurisdictions, and certainly in incredibly bad taste, and all that can be said about somebody who is not a feminist is that they're ruining everybody else's good time. So I have no intention of flying around the continent ruining everybody's good time by not being a feminist. So we'll have to find some sort of midway point between that, where I am not distressing the universal feminist consensus, and at the same time I'm able to meet and talk to people who are interested in my work and think that it's fine that I'm not a feminist. They don't insist that I be a feminist or pretend that I'm a feminist. Okay, so there you go. Michael R., there's the answer to all of your questions. Now I'm going to go somewhere and breathe heavily for a while. But thank you very much for your interest, and particularly for getting all of that, allowing me to get all of that information out in one place. And I hope we'll see a bunch of you next week for the weekly update for November 3rd.